Here's the deal. Look, we have these massive updates for Uber drivers and couriers. If you don't know me, my name is Mike. I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Uber was the first app I ever signed up for. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles here. This only on Uber event, we saw so many updates if you're a driver on Uber Rideshare or a courier on Uber Eats. Here's the deal. I want to go through this with you in a more in-depth look, providing my own experience after doing gig work for now 10 years, and I need your feedback. I'm one person in one marketplace. If you like this stuff, so the way that this event worked, it's only on Uber. They do it every year. It's like their big announcement event for improvements for drivers and couriers. The Uber driver gig app, right? So they had their kind of like thesis statement, if you will. The main thing they were focusing on was ease of use, safety, very important, and fairness. So each of these categories have new features, and we're going to go over these new features. Let me know in the live chat or the comments for each one of these. Is it a hit, a miss? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's anything, or do you think it's fluff? Let me know, because I need your feedback. So getting into this only on Uber event, if you want a summary, I'll leave that summary video linked down below. Number one, ease. Read about new features designed to help make earning easier. So number one, they're completely revamping the rewards screen. So you know how you can do this, with me if you want. Go into your Uber driver app, go into your rewards section, and you'll see Uber Eats Pro if you're set up on a courier account, typically like, courier only, or Uber Pro if you do rideshare. And that profile with Uber Pro will have usually both Eats and rideshare. So now this is combined into this one Uber Pro hub, it's called. So it says, in addition, starting March 1st, we'll be phasing out Advantage mode in cities where it's available and introducing the new and improved Uber Pro program in select cities. The new Uber Pro can help you earn more and improve your day-to-day experience, et cetera, et cetera. There's different rewards programs, and it carries over this 5% more per trip if you are on rideshare UberX. That was Advantage mode. The 5% bonus. So, okay, like I said, there's this new Uber Pro hub. It's going to be clearer for you to find your rewards. Let's move on. You can see the screenshot right here. And here is the Uber Eats Pro. Same thing. It's this redesigned Uber Pro hub. It's going to be easier to see the perks. It's going to be easier to unlock rewards, etc. But I want to get into the actual app improvements. Number one, if you do rideshare, and like I said, when I signed up for Uber 2015, actually 10 years ago to the date, in about 13 days, Halloween weekend, 2015, 10 years ago. Now, if you do rideshare, you know the heat map. If you do food delivery, you know the heat map. Now, for rideshare drivers, we have a new rides heat map. It's the same color-coded heat map that you know and love. I kind of say that sarcastically, but you may like it. Hey, you may like it, right? Nothing wrong with that. So with the different colored zones, darker, busier, lighter, not as busy, completely unhighlighted, not busy areas. Now you can see actual times estimated to wait for a ride. Now you'll see both combined here because look, right here you can see both combined. Your typical surge pay, your per ride request, in this case $5.25, That is a surge zone. If you pick up near that zone, it's not guaranteed. Sometimes you're like close to it. Sometimes it can even seem like you're on top of it and you don't get 525. I get it. And then we have a separate zone right here in the colored sections. Darker the color, the less time you have to wait, which infers their standard heat map. The darker it is, the busier it is. So that's number one. Spot changes at a glance. Now, going to Uber Eats, if you're a courier, and let me know, I mean, do you do rideshare or are you more like an Uber Eats person? Because I started with rideshare. I've done, 1,000 plus on rideshare and 500 plus on Uber Eats. I feel like it's more than that, but that's what the profile says. Because if you're on Uber Eats, then we have things like this. This is the new heat map for Uber Eats here. So this is showing you the restaurants. And this is going to show you by restaurant or by pickup the same thing. The same colors, the darker it is, the busier it is. Now, my take on this is it is hyper specific, right? Restaurant by restaurant. Don't go chasing any certain restaurant. You do not need to go that macro. I would find a power strip, we call it, areas that are really dense with opportunities, in this case, restaurants, and stage there. Wait there. I don't want you driving around either, waiting for a request. That's what's called empty miles. Our new app, ShiftMate, tracks those empty miles and downtime. If you want to download that for iOS, again, it's called ShiftMate. So I think this is pretty granular. Do not chase any one specific restaurant. There's plenty of restaurants. Find a power strip. Moving on. Now we're getting super granular. So let's go over each and every one of these, the changes on this only on Uber event. Make decisions easier with more time and more info. When you receive a trip request, you'll now see clearer route information on the map, including the number of stops between the first pickup and the final drop-off. We're also, pay attention to this, listen to this, we're extending the time to accept a trip request by up to a third in some marketplaces, giving drivers more time to review and decide which trips they take. Okay, again, for each one of these, the reason you're watching this video is I want to go over at least my take compared to your take here. What's working here and what's not working. What's working, and I think we'll see this a little bit later, is let's say on batch trips or stacked offers. Offers that are two or more assignments for one driver. It can be, pickups, drop-offs, whatever it is. That if you see a deeper breakdown, great. I can see the stops. You can see the little nodes there, the little points there. Fine. Wonderful. That's nice. Now, second point, they're adding more time to accept a trip request. I'm assuming, based on the verbiage here, this seems to be skewed towards Uber rideshare, or they call it mobility. So I'd like some more clarity there if this is extending to Uber Eats as well. So there's one point of clarity there. I mean, do couriers get more time to accept, or is this just like a mobility thing? And here's another thing I would like more clarity on. Take a look again. We're extending the time to accept a trip request by up to a third. What does that mean? Okay. I mean, typically, if you didn't know, on like Uber and Uber Eats, you get like 30 seconds to accept. But even that can vary. It can be 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I know some drivers have seen like less than, I don't know, about 15, maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds. How long do you think you have to accept an offer? Maybe put that in the live chat or the comments section. Have you ever timed that? Be like, yeah, man, I have like 18 seconds to accept. It's not a lot of time. Let me know. So I'd like more clarity. How much, give me a time, man. How much time are you actually increasing it? It went from this to that. 30 seconds to accept to 35 seconds to 40 seconds. I mean, increasing it by a third, I don't know what that means. I get it's in limited marketplaces, fine. But it says up to a third more time. Again, what does that mean? So some marketplaces are going to get a 10-second increase, 5-second increase, 8-second. And again, it goes from what to what? Give us more clarity there. So let me know what you think about that. Plan ahead with detailed destination info on Trip Planner. So Trip Planner gets drop-off addresses, etc. up front, so couriers will always know exactly where they're going. They're showing in UberX, but they describe Uber Eats, a courier. And frankly, I have not paid much attention to Trip Planner. Look at the screenshot. It says pick up so-and-so, UberX, right? So they cite couriers. So what part of the workflow is Trip Planner for couriers? It kind of sounds like it's just your, route info or something there. And that's different than Trip Radar. So where exactly are we seeing this? I mean, again, it looks like it's part of the workflow. You can see it says pick up, which obviously infers I already have my passenger and I'm on the way. So they talk about right down here for couriers. So for couriers, is it going to be like, go to Jimmy John's and then I'm getting more information in that portion of the trip? Is that Trip Planner? More clarity and control on batched deliveries. So batch deliveries, there you go. We call it stacked offers, batch deliveries, whatever you want to call it. 2 or more assignments for one worker. That's yourself. And we can see one fellow gig worker, 15 seconds to accept an offer, right? Sometimes it feels like more, less. Do I have an add-on? Do I have a stacked offer? Let's look at the stacked offers here. So we're helping couriers deliver multiple orders with more ease. You'll get clear signals and visual cues on important information like merchant logos, how many orders are headed to the same customer, clear distinction on multiple pickups at the same restaurant, and alerts on often missed items so you can stay focused while on the move. So here's the example. Check that you have 2 orders that include 2 drinks. Now, this isn't everything. And again, if you want to watch the full only on Uber events, we can certainly leave that linked as well. But definitely go watch the summary video that I did after this one so you can get a nice summary there. Now, if we're getting more information on stacked offers, what's the biggest pain point of stacked offers? When you're actually making the workflow. So when you're actually in it, you've already accepted. Because on the offer card, think about this. Let's think about this. Let's back it up even. Before you accept, I need to know which restaurants, where am I going for the drop-off? I want to zoom in and see both. I want to see both the drop-offs. I want to be able to tell if it's the same customer, but 2 different restaurants. I want to see if it's the same restaurant, but 2 different customers, etc. And I want to see both restaurants. I want to see both restaurants. I want to see all that on the offer card. Now, when I'm making the pickup, I want screens that make sure I don't miss stuff. I want to make sure hey, I'm at the Five Guys. Oh, this one has a drink. Okay, if I'm doing like Uber Eats, right? I'm at the Five Guys. How about this? I'm at a Five Guys. I actually have 2 orders from this location. Here's a great example. I just thought of this. On a recent shift, it was a DoorDash order actually. So here's a great example. It was a DoorDash stacked offer, right? It was for Chipotle, but it was split up as Chipotle and Chipotle Mexican Grill. So it didn't correctly bundle them together. What I mean is it listed two different names, Chipotle, Chipotle Mexican Grill. And it confused me because I'm like, am I going to a different Chipotle or what's going on here? So I zoomed in on the app and it was the same Chipotle. They just listed it under like two different names, which was a little confusing. Like you just want to make sure when you get there, like I'm going to the right spot. So any improvements they can do to batched orders, as long as we're not adding clutter and stuff like that, okay, cool. They added new features for rideshare, specifically for airport queues. I remember, hey, let me know if you do rideshare. I mean, airport queues are a different animal. Timing and wait order, like where you're at in the queue. That's the name of the game for airport runs. Where is the cell phone lot, typically it's called? Where's the staging lot or the cell phone lot? What flights are coming in? Where am I at in the queue? How long is it going to take? So you can see here, maximize your airport efficiency with the new trip tools. And this isn't all the screenshots. They just kind of give us an example here. Now, some of these have articles. Some of these we will go deeper. But look here. Gives you the wait time front and center. Gives you an estimated wait time. Shows you how many cars waiting. Why would that really matter other than like discourage you if there's like 70 cars, 80 cars waiting? Now, it's going to vary based on your airport. Okay, this is why you need to know your marketplace. I'm one person at one market. I don't know your specific airport queue. 70 might be nothing. 50 might be a lot. 120 might be a lot. It depends there. But they're adding this stuff like how many passengers are landing. When I was first doing this in 2015, 2016, please, hey, can you just like this video for going way back when I was driving on this platform with none of this stuff? That would have been nice to see. I'm like, oh, I know exactly that. Not only how many flights are coming in, because now they show you that as well, how many flights are coming in and when they're coming in, but how many passengers specifically are landing as well. I like it. I like it. Because imagine like you're trying to decide if you want to do like a late night hours, you know? And it's like, oh, the last flight's coming in. Well, I don't know. Remind me of some airports are 24/7. I'm trying to remember what Pittsburgh International does. But anyway, like the latest flight, right? You're like, oh, like 300 people are coming in. 500. Is it worth it to stay out there versus like going home? Possibly. A new destination mode. I think this might have been one of the most underrated or maybe just, overlooked improvements that we saw on this Only on Uber event. So destination mode. This is typically framed for rideshare. I'd have to go into my app and remind me if you can use that on Uber Eats. Really remind me, I can't remember. But they've had destination mode for years now. Or a destination filter, it might have been called prior. So I'm in a certain area of my marketplace. And I want to head towards a different area of my market. Oh, I want to go over there. I want to end over there. Or I got pulled out of position. That airport run that I picked up took me way out of the area, but I took it because otherwise I'd get put at the back of the queue or something like that. Or this food delivery run was super good. I couldn't deny it, but it took me a little bit away from my desired location. I know I need to get back to this area by a certain time, right? So a destination filter will say, hey, find me offers that are headed back into that zone. Now there's the option of a flexible routes or a faster route. So you can see here, again, framed for rideshare, higher chance of rides because you're flexible. It says arrive by 11:20. I don't need to get there right now. Okay. Give me some time. I'm flexible. I can stay in my current zone for a little bit more. Versus faster route, as the name implies, lower chance of rides in this example at least, but you arrive closer to that time that you might have set. So if you are pressed for time, That at least gives you an option, because sometimes you want to get there sooner. Sometimes literally you are, more flexible. So that's good to see. Moving on. I would not leave this video yet. Check out what's next. Don't leave this video. Again, my name is Mike. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. Check out our new tool for gig workers. Let me just change the title in here. Like that. There you go. At ShiftMate, shiftmateapp.com, join already hundreds of gig workers that are checking out ShiftMate for free. I would go annual if you're going to look at our premium options. I think everyone should have premium. It gives you the deeper insights of your earnings. And annual specifically because you save like 16% over a monthly, all backed by our 30-day money-back guarantee. So look at these digital tasks. Brand new. This is crazy. This is brand new. We will start to pilot a new way to earn in the driver app where you're not driving or delivering. These will be digital tasks like recording audio, uploading images, or digitizing documents. Select drivers and couriers will start to see an invitation to sign up for this opportunity as we pilot it later this year. So this one I want to look at. Introducing digital tasks. So this is coming again later this year to the Uber driver app. Again, it says select drivers and couriers across the US. Understandably, if you're in a marketplace outside of the US, we'll have to follow this closely for you and track when they might expand this to international marketplaces. Now, here's what you do. You may be asked to complete any of the following tasks. Record yourself speaking in the language you're most comfortable with. Submit documents written in different languages. Upload everyday images within a specified category. Each task only takes a couple of minutes. Over time, you will see a wider variety of tasks, giving you more opportunity to earn. That is brand new. Now, here's the thing, like how much is it going to pay, right? Like, great. How much is it going to pay? So preliminary examples only on Uber events. Listen, this is framed as something you can do, sure, from home, but it's also, think about it, this is something you can do while you're sitting waiting for another request. Now, I teach you to multi-app. Drive on different apps at the same time so you can select the best paying offer for you. Keep doing that. Keep multi-apping. That's like the basics that work. That's been proven here. But even when you're multi-apping, if it's slower, I hear you in rural marketplaces or suburban, smaller marketplaces. You might not have as much order volume, even when multi-apping. So if I could do a little voice memo thing, if I could submit a document, it says in different language. I don't know if they're going to need English documents or not, or even images. Interesting. It's going to be, at least in the example, we saw $1 for documents. We saw 50 cents for audio, just speaking. Now, the audio one, it's kind of a tough sell for me because like it said a minimum of 2.5 minutes. I do not know if they're all going to be 2.5 minutes because Ride is like a little bit longer. 60 seconds, fine. And again, it's not going to be like a lot of money, but think about this. If you do one document upload, it's $1. So you just increased your hourly pay by $1 if you're doing this as a filler, like assignment. Like, oh, I'm waiting 60 seconds for an offer. You do one document upload. So then my hourly went from 19 to $20 in that hour. If I'm, obviously doing my other usual tasks along with this. So I'm very curious to see how that looks when they release these digital tasks. So again, documents, audio, images. And last point on this, I just thought about this. This is in direct correlation to what we've seen from DoorDash as well. I kind of felt like this was coming because we've seen new verticals, alcohol, convenience, the shop and deliver. What else? Pet. So this is similar to that because I get it. They're pretty strong in the restaurant niche. So they're looking at other niches and providing at least another way to earn. Okay, cool. Now, catering. You got to let me know what this is like. Okay, so this new offer type, it's going to be extra payment and potentially bigger tips because it's not just catering. It's not just more food. It is not just like, oh, hey, we're going to give you a catering tray. These are setup required offers. So you might already be familiar with DoorDash, a large order catering program. You might be familiar with standalone catering apps. This is catering, but again, you just set it up. That's it. If you already do catering gig apps, you've already done this. And think about this, vice versa. This is great either way. If you haven't done catering gig apps, there you go. Start looking at catering gig apps. If you already do catering gig apps, now you might also look at this, catering setup. So by setting up large food orders, 20 plus items, it'll be clearly labeled setup required and it pays more. And could potentially get more tips there because it is a catering run. So all that means is a larger subtotal, what the customer is paying. And if they tip you based on a percentage, higher basket size, potentially a higher tip there. It's just, the question there is like, I get it. How many catering runs are there, right? There's not going to be a ton of catering runs during your week. But I've spoken with the drivers that they can do 3 to 4 a week, 5 a week, maybe, 1 a day on catering apps. Now you can combine it with Uber Eats and hopefully do 7 a week, 8 a week, catering runs. Makes a big difference. If it averages like $30, $35 per offer, just to kind of pepper that in there with your shift. Improved navigation on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Very good. And enhanced navigation features. So they said they're going to have speed cameras, because they don't want you to get a ticket. So they're going to have little icons if there's a speed camera detected on your GPS when you're on the navigation. Fine, cool. Don't want you to get a ticket. I want you to be speeding anyway. Please don't speed anyway and obey traffic laws. It's amazing how many less tickets you get when you obey traffic laws. But again, things happen. I get it. Moving on to safety. So what do you think about the first part here? Worth it? What do we think of this only on Uber event? Did you watch it? Have you subscribed? Are you sure that you subscribed with the bell notifications on to be in the know? Maybe you're still judging. You're like, I don't know if 10 years of gig work is enough. I don't trust that's enough experience. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Been doing this stuff for a while. Would love to earn your subscription, but if not, you can watch from afar. Maybe one day, right, folks? All right. Safety feature number 1. Feel more confident with women trip matching. So if you're a woman driver, Uber said during this event, the vast majority of rideshare drivers are male. The vast majority on rideshare. Now, they did say that number is more equal, a little bit more similar there on Courier, Uber Eats work. But they really want to encourage women to sign up for the Uber platform to feel safe and confident when driving rideshare. So as a woman driver, you can enable women trip preferences. Well, it's women rider preferences. So that will match you, I believe, exclusively with women riders. Well, let's actually read the thing here. Gives women drivers the option to request trips from women riders, including peak earnings hours and like evenings. Now, of course, I mean, they want everyone to feel safe. And I've done rideshare. I started with rideshare, as I mentioned. And when did I drive? Here in Pittsburgh? Almost exclusively. If you're thinking like, must be nice. This dude just talks about gig apps, but doesn't do it. My friend, I started in 2015, 2016, 2017, only driving the graveyard hours, basically. And I have the videos to prove it. I would go out there from 8 to 9 p.m., it depends, that evening rush, all the way until like 4 a.m., typically on the weekends. And I did that in Pittsburgh. I did it in San Diego. I'm back here in Pittsburgh. And that was my bread and butter, driving around students and just the general populace here in Pittsburgh, late night bar hours. And it was great. It was very lucrative pay. And it certainly, I'll say this, I always try to give you my honest take here. It is its own animal entirely. Rideshare is not like food delivery. It's not like grocery. It's not like Amazon Flex or Spark, like package delivery. It is not like pet sitting. It is not like whatever else we've talked about. Rideshare is its own animal. Because gig work, when you have a passenger right behind you, 2 feet behind you in your vehicle, especially if it's at night. Let's go back to this. So, Uber wants everyone to feel safe. I want you to feel safe. Like, come on, duh. So this rider rating preference gives you the ability to set a minimum rider rating for trip requests. Why does this matter? And again, I can talk from straight experience. This is the best place to learn about the gig economy. That is why I made an app for you. Again, ShiftMate. And it's my commitment to make that the best gig tool there is. I didn't have this feature. I did not have any kind of ratings protection filter thing. So they did show you, they continue to show you the rider rating when you get the ride request. Why does that matter? It's based on a 5-star scale, as you probably know. So the driver rates the passenger rates the driver. If there's any instance of whatever, bad behavior, the person being annoying, the person being rude, the person getting sick in the car, the person making a huge mess, the person, you get the point, then you might rate that rider lower. And I'll tell you this, especially now in 2025, we know how rideshare works. When I first signed up, it was brand new. So the decorum and the social norms of rideshare, we're all trying to still figure it out. We all know how rideshare works and how you're supposed to act, be a nice, neutral passenger. So if you see ride requests come through from someone with a 4.0, with a 4.2 rating, something happened. Possibly. I say, because honestly, sometimes someone may just not like the person for whatever reason. It doesn't mean they necessarily did something egregious, right? Or that the person may not have just liked them. But if it's a rating that seems like it's been low, again, you don't really know, but if it's a low rating, it just gives you a little pause. So I think I can definitely see drivers using that, the filter. A whole lot more though. We got to keep rolling here. New cash payment safeguards on rideshare. Yes, Uber does now have cash payments. To help create a more comfortable experience, we introduced rider identity verification. Enunciate, folks. That's what you have to do there for cash trips. Riders paying with cash need to verify their identity and may additionally need to pass an ID and selfie check to request the ride. You know what? I kind of like that. Read that again. Riders paying with cash need to verify their identity. And then it says may additionally need to pass their ID. So if they're going to pay with cash, because again, like I told you, you got someone right there, right behind, they can reach out and touch you. They're like right there. And like, look, I drove all those late night hours. I still was like, when they chose to sit right behind you versus like behind and across from you, you know? So double down that they're going to pay with cash. Like, oh, so the person, do they have a payment card on file? Are they like trying to avoid having their information tied to the Uber platform? What's going on here? So with this, if they are going to pay with cash, I think a small percent of rides are going to be paying with cash, right? And I believe you can opt out anyway. The same thing with DoorDash food delivery. You can opt out of cash trips. But to have them verify an actual identity, and remember, you know, there's record my ride as well. So the phone will record the cabin of the vehicle using your front-facing camera. That's all done and encrypted on the Uber platform. So it's a lot different. We didn't have any of that 10 years ago. And the same thing with package delivery as well. They're going to have a verified badge on there. And the same thing with alcohol. So, you know, any, scenarios or ride types or requests that would merit needing or at least wanting better ID than Uber's doing it, right? They've always had security checks like this, but they're just adding more stuff. So they're just going to prompt the customer to, again, do even more verification. Now take a live selfie, re-upload your ID. We're going to compare it, right, to do some of this stuff. And alcohol, you can see a stronger age verification process, etc. Here's a little feature here. So that record my ride, they'll give you notifications now if your battery is low. Because what they found was when your battery was low or you had weak signal, record my ride would stop. So they just added little pop-up notifications that'll let you know, hey, record my ride, like turned off or something. So make sure to charge your phone. All right, section number 3, fairness. Again, let's take a little second here. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what app or niche is working well for you right now. And stay with me. At the end of the video, we're going to do a Q&A that is exclusively for our Team VIP channel members on the replay. I mean, you can stick around and participate live if you like, but if you want replays of all those Q&A, click the join button down below to be a Team VIP channel member. So with fairness, number 1, now don't leave this video because we're getting into some actual money things here. If a trip takes longer, you are guaranteed to earn more. Specifically, it is 5 minutes or longer. So check this out right here. With a delayed ride guarantee, you'll automatically earn more anytime a ride lasts 5 minutes more than estimated from pickup to drop off. And this one I think we should actually look at. So let's look at this one together. Set again right here. Let's reiterate on rideshare. After your pickup, if the ride runs 5 minutes or longer than the original estimate, your fare will increase. Delay ride guarantee only applies to time spent driving from pickup to drop off, right? Driving, right? Okay. The adjustment happens automatically, no action required, and you see the additional pay on your trip receipt. And then all existing features like wait time fees and tips continue. So wait time fees When you get to that destination, it lets the rider know that you're there. And then they'll give them 2 minutes. Used to be 5 minutes. I think it's 2 minutes now. And then after that, you start earning a per minute rate. It's not a lot, but that is not going anywhere as well. So let's see what else they have here. My only thing about this, and I said this on the initial summary video here, is I believe it sounds like this is going to be more than that wait time pay. The wait time pay is negligible the last that I really saw it. So the example they showed on the Only on Uber event was $5+ adjustment. That could be pretty good. So it depends on okay, how many minutes was it delayed, right? And then 5 minutes. How many rides are going to be delayed? Or I guess I should say take longer than the 5 minutes there. But I will say this. Think about this. Think about this. DoorDash is releasing their on-time rates. So you have to be on time to the pickup and or the drop-off, right? You have to be on time based on the original time shown on the offer card. If you're late, it dings your account, and that can affect rewards programs and stuff like that. This is almost an inverse where Uber is saying if it's our fault or whatever, something happened on the road, we'll pay you if you're late because it took more time. Now, you may be thinking, well, yeah, there's always going to be delays on the road. Construction, there was an accident that popped up, sudden road closure that wasn't on Google Maps, something like that, right? Yes. But look, here's the key word. Check this out. So if it lasts more than 5 minutes, then the estimated time from pickup to drop off. So Uber's kind of saying we're pretty confident on our ETAs. And if our ETA is off and it takes 5+ minutes, we'll pay you. That is quite interesting. And good, because again, traffic delays, what have you. So I'm curious to see that in practice. Let me know if you do rideshare and how that would affect you. Now, next, for tips here, live tip alerts. So if you're on iOS, and I believe Android has this similar feature as well, you can see here, new iOS feature. So all this is it's going to pop up on the customer's home screen of their iPhone. So the way that the latest iOS software is working, you can get notifications. You can get priority notifications that kind of has a little highlight around it because it's important. And then you can see live activity notifications. Hey, you have 3 minutes left on your parking, and it'll show and it counts down. Or, hey, here's a process of your Starbucks order, received, prepping, ready for pickup, and it stays there on that home screen. So now they're adding a live tip notifications. They're taking advantage of that iOS feature to prompt the customer, hey, your driver would really love a tip. 100% of tips go to the driver. And that's it. They're just encouraging customers to leave a tip. So that's always good to say. Now, possibly the biggest improvement that I have seen, maybe from Uber as a company ever, is this. So come back to right here, watch this, mark this to watch it later if you got to go. Have more certainty with every trip with tip guarantee. Our new tip guarantee feature for couriers, when you see guaranteed on a trip request, the amount you see on the trip is the amount you'll receive after the delivery. In cases where there is a change, Uber will cover the difference. Enjoy greater confidence and certainty on every trip. If you see this on the offer card, this is what you're going to make flat out. So we've talked about this a lot, maybe not if you're new here. Tip baiting. So the customer, let's say this is a $6.34 base pay. That's Uber's pay. And then they tipped $6, right? So you complete this delivery, like, yes, like $12.34, awesome. And then after you finish the delivery, that customer lowers the tip and sometimes completely removes it. So you're expecting $12.34 and now you're getting $6.34 because they removed their $6 tip. Sometimes without reason. Like if there's a reason, then that's different, right? But what Uber is saying is like, if you see that icon, that is what you're getting. Now, I have questions. You have questions. Let's look at the page here. Now, this is brand new. You can see it came out just days ago on October 14th. So make sure to subscribe. I almost guarantee they're going to add details to this. So we want to know, here's the example again. If you see this flag, that's what you're getting. How often are we going to see the flag, right? How often are we going to see this flag? Some marketplaces are going to see this more often than others. Some couriers are going to see this more often than others. I don't know. Is it going to be for only certain like dollar offers? Is it going to be for certain tip amounts? Like they're not going to do this if a customer tips more than $15 because they don't want to risk covering that. Like, I don't know. We don't know any of this. But I mean, still, I'm going to take it for what it is. It's a great idea and it's actually coming. So here's some more info on it. It's basically what we just saw. Again, you see that flag, then you'll get it. If there's a change in the tip amount post-delivery, straight black and white, they're going to cover it. That's phenomenal. That's the first like company that's really done some iteration, if you will, of tip baiting protection since Instacart, really. I think Instacart did that, 2023 maybe? They had $10 tip baiting protection. I see no limit on this. It does not say they will cover a certain amount. It says they're just going to cover the difference. So could they cover 10, 15, $20 tips that were zeroed out? I mean, that's huge. You will never have to worry about losing that amount of a tip. And again, I'm speculating a bit. I don't know all the intricacies right now, but that is massive. I mean, again, okay, let me continue. We could speculate a lot on this. So it's rolling out in the US starting November. So next month, 2025, November, at the time of filming this. When it comes to you, you'll see it in your delivery experience, AKA you'll start to see it on the offer cards. And you'll be informed via email and in-app updates. So watch your email. This is another reason why I say like opt into emails as well, because I don't want you to miss out on new features. Like imagine you hated driving for Uber and like, oh, there's too much tip baiting on it. And you deleted the app, right? If you deleted the app, you're not going to get obviously any in-app notifications. You deleted the thing. But then if you also opted out of emails, you'll completely miss out on like, oh, hey, remember that one thing that you hated about Uber? They just added, tip guarantees. Now let's look at the fine print here, because there is some fine print, of course, but I'll tell you one surprising point about this. So first part, again, they just repeat, it's, in limited US marketplaces in November. We don't know how many cities, but it's coming next month. And then it'll roll out to more US markets later this year. There's not much later this year left, guys. So there's only like a couple months left in 2025. So the expansion should be rather quick, which is good. Now here's the second fine print. Tip guarantee is only applicable on completed deliveries placed through Uber. Deliveries placed by consumers through third parties will not be included. just my opinion, I'm not too worried about that. I mean, I don't know their data. I don't know how many deliveries they do that are sourced directly through Uber versus third party. Like, I understand it's not nothing, right? So what does that mean? That just means like customers that are actually going to UberEats.com or the Uber Eats app. They're ordering directly through Uber. That'll be protected. But if they're going through like the, davespizza.com, and they order delivery directly through the website, but the website uses Uber Eats drivers to fulfill it and stuff like that, then it wouldn't qualify. But again, at least it's something there. So I like it. I have questions. How many marketplaces? Is there a threshold they're going to protect up to? Expansion is coming by the end of the year. First rollout in November. But we've never seen Uber do this. DoorDash does not have it. Grubhub does not have it. Uber is massive. For them to do something like this, I am very curious how it's going to go. Again, I'm waiting to see. We'll wait to see, but I'm very curious how that's going to go. More clarity on cancellations. And I don't really remember this one, so let's read it. Couriers are now protected from occasional cancellations that are beyond your control, such as when someone else picks up your order or the restaurant is unexpectedly closed. I do remember this one now. And they won't count towards your cancellation rate. So what does this remind you of? This is like the worry-free unassign on DoorDash. It's a little different because on worry-free unassign on DoorDash, if you wait at the restaurant for more than typically 10 minutes, that's not a guarantee, typically 10 minutes, and you always want to indicate on the Dasher app the reason why. There's a little marker that says, tell us what's happening. So you let them know. They know when you've arrived because it's processed through the app there. But going back here on Uber, restaurants closed or someone else picked it up. I've had both of these happen. I guarantee you're going to have this happen if you haven't had it already. You can cancel and it doesn't affect your completion rate. I will say, we also want to pay for it, guys. We also want some pay because DoorDash, they'll typically pay you like half or at least $5 or something like that. Then you have to go through support. Uber Eats, I feel like they pay you less, if at all, if the restaurant's closed. I mean, you can help me out. But so I want to make sure, guys, if we're going to do this, let's try to provide some payments, at least half, because that courier has taken time to drive there. More safeguards with the rating system. And now more safeguards for the deactivation process. So if you were deactivated, I mean, they just expanded this last year on their Uber, only on Uber event 2024. So now they're going a little bit deeper on deactivations where you can provide evidence, but what they'll actually do is if it's a false claim, and I don't want to say everyone's going to get that, but some people will get this, on rideshare or delivery, they'll get false claims. Like, well, you can think of almost anything. The driver took my food. The driver just verbally abused me on our ride. The driver said that they're not going to let me out of the vehicle, or the driver was intoxicated, or my Uber Eats driver, messed with my food. And if there's evidence, record my ride, right, on those rideshare runs. On Uber Eats runs, dash cam footage, screenshots of the app showing your location when you dropped it off, stuff like that. Anything like that, then they might deactivate the customer. And they said that on this event, they might deactivate the customer if there's false claims, because they don't want customers doing that either. So what they might do, you can see here, they might deactivate or pause your ability to go online with a certain earnings mode. Now, this is an at-fault deactivation. So if there's a reason that you were deactivated, it was your fault. And typically they give you warnings, unless it's egregious, right? They'll give you warnings. They might like send you emails and stuff, like reminding you like, hey, you need to go from A to B on deliveries, right? You need to keep food in a presentable manner. If you're like driving like crazy and you're making pizzas fall over and stuff like that, and you're doing that repeatedly, they might send you warnings and stuff. Now, eventually they might deactivate a certain earnings mode, as you can see here. Because what they used to do is just completely deactivate you from Uber. So that makes sense, right? If you need to work on one thing, they might give you time to work on that one thing. And that was, yes, the last thing that I thought here. So this was, again, the Only on Uber event, the 4th annual Only on Uber event. If you want a quick summary, I'll have that video as well. But let me know in our Q&A section which one of these stood out most to you. All you have to do is put a Q, put a question mark, or really just anything. Just let me know what's working for you, what's not working for you, and I'll be right back.